Good evening, I'm Greg Sharpe. Here is tonight's Sports Ticker. The Huskers held a situational scrimmage today. Afterwards, the head coach, Scott Frost, talked about what he saw.
No, we had kind of a scrimmage today. Thought our guys were ready for it. We didn't have a ton of full tackle live periods, but put the guys in mock situations in a mock game today, and got a lot of good work out there.
We'll hear more from the coach later this hour. The Huskers will have another practice tomorrow and then take Sunday off. Nebraska Athletics announced today that they will host their first ever student tailgate this season. It'll be called the Boneyard. It'll take place at 4 home games this season: Fordham, Buffalo, Northwestern, and Michigan. The tailgating experience will feature 60 tents, food, and music. The site for this will be the Donald and Lorena Meyer Commons area, which is just north of the Nebraska Union. The Husker soccer team will be back on the pitch tonight, hosting North Dakota State. The match starts at 7:05. It's free to the public at Hibner Stadium. This is the final tune-up before next Thursday's regular season opener against Western Illinois. The August graduation is taking place this weekend in Lincoln. 13 former and current Huskers are set to be handed their diploma. That list includes former Husker basketball star Isaiah Roby and current football players DeAndre Thomas and Travis Vokalek. Major League Baseball scores. Games just getting underway. Cincinnati at Philadelphia. The Baltimore Orioles in Boston to take on the Red Sox. Cleveland and Detroit to battle the Tigers. The Dodgers facing off with the Mets. Cubs in Florida to take on the Marlins. The Braves and Nationals in a rain delay right now in D.C. The Brewers are visiting Pittsburgh. They're also battling Mother Nature and some wet weather. Later on, it'll be the Oakland Athletics in Texas to take on the Rangers. The Rays and Twins get together in Minneapolis. Astros and Angels will battle out in Anaheim. Padres in Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks. Rockies and Giants get together in San Francisco. And late tonight, the Blue Jays and Mariners out in Seattle. Royals and Cardinals will play in Kansas City tonight. Also, several NFL preseason games. Tennessee visiting Atlanta. The Bills in Detroit to take on the Lions. And late tonight, Dallas and Arizona out in the desert. Those are today's headlines. I'm Greg Sharpe.
Live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network, bringing you the best Husker sports experience.
Kubik sends it past me, Gonzalez. It's over the net. Shut back by Stivrins. It's in. They did it. Match point, Big Red. 15-10 in the fifth. Fighting back from the abyss, down 2 sets love. Nebraska claims opening night against Ohio State. 15-10 set 5. My goodness.
Lauren Stivrins is a great leader, and Lauren was talking to those guys through when we were struggling, and she got them to change their mindset. And then I think Lexi led the way, and Nicklin, and so those are the guys that got to do that. Then it was fun to watch. We played Husker volleyball.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you. We're here Friday night in a stadium. It's about to get some people to come through the doors. They've got a little sound check concert going on here in about an hour.
Yeah, you walk outside the doors, you can hear some music going.
It's not Garth yet,
it's
though,
not.
right?
It's not Garth. I believe he's set to go at 7, but there is somebody playing music up there, and we should be hearing Garth pretty soon.
We know he's here. He had a little press conference thing earlier today, so he is in town.
Yeah, and had a really cool quote about getting in front of this crowd here. You know, if you play music, you got to be in front of this crowd, because basically just saying that how amazing it's going to be. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to see this place packed, as Scott Frost alluded to today, just seeing it full again.
He's going.
Yeah.
So he said he's going to go. There's a Frost suite up on the 6th floor on the West Stadium, and that's where it's always for the head coach's family to sit. And he's like, I'm going to sit in my own suite. I've never been in there. So he's gonna go use his own suite for a concert.
Big Garth fan. You heard him. He was asked about it and had rattled off a few songs. So
some that you wouldn't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calling Baton Rouge, I mean, it's a #1 hit, but it's not one that I don't think everyone, says. So, and he said that Garth came in and spoke to the team when he was a senior.
Yep.
So
earlier before he really kind of launched his big career. Garth was not yet big time yet. This was like 97, so it was right before Garth exploded onto the scene. Apparently, some of the current student athletes are not as familiar with Garth Brooks, right? We're going to hear something later this hour.
Yeah, if you can check on the Huskers social media platforms. If not, we've got it coming up for you on the show a little bit later. Had some fun with some of the current student athletes. Went down to the training table and quizzed them to fill in the blank on some Garth Brooks lyrics. The iconic opening line, "Blame it all on my roots,"
Yeah.
And I mean, it was an epic fail. Well, there were some that got it, but
Not many.
it was pretty funny though. It was hilarious.
You had a lot of football players, obviously. You had some volleyball players that were down there.
And some women's basketball
Women's
players.
hoops were
The
there as well.
Australians, no, not Garth fans.
Izzy Bourne didn't come up with that, so that'll be fun. We won't play the entire bit, but we'll play enough of it that you all can get a feeling for that coming up later on in the hour. Mention that we will have more from the head coach. He met with the media today. They did scrimmage. It wasn't, as he said, maybe as physical a scrimmage as what they did last Sunday, but they did. He thought get in some productive work, so we'll get into hear what he has to say. They will practice tomorrow, and then they all get Sunday off. I would guess some of the team will go to the concert, I would imagine, tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean,
even if they don't know the music.
I was going to say, I don't think some of the ones that I interviewed are going, but some of the soccer players, I think, because they were saying that they couldn't go. They wanted to go, but they couldn't. There's something that's a conflict there, but maybe a few of them are going to be able to go. Oh, no, they couldn't go to the one tonight. So tonight's sound check is they opened it up for students and staff, but so a lot of the students were going to maybe go tonight to the sound check, but and the tickets maybe didn't get any tickets for tomorrow.
Right. I think it's free for students tonight.
It
right?
is, yeah. That's really cool. It's awesome that he's doing that.
He just goes the extra mile. I think that's what wins so many fans over this, his ability to think out of the box and do other things for people, and it's not just a big money grab for him as he moves through. He's a remarkable performer and a really good human being. I think that's why people really latch on to Garth Brooks. Mentioned that Nebraska Athletics today announced that they're going to have this student tailgate section over by the Union, which is in the middle of campus. Have not done something like that in the past. I think this is a really good idea. They're not going to do it for every game. It gets cold later in the season, and you probably wouldn't have a great turnout, but I hope this is successful. They're going to call it the Boneyard. They're going to have tents set up, and some vendors and student organizations can promote themselves, and they're going to have food, and they're going to have a live band over there. I think it's a great idea. Yeah,
and I think they've done some research, some meeting with the student groups, and this was something that they had, thought would be good and requested and wanted to kind of maybe get involved on campus. There wasn't a spot for them, so a way to kind of get them involved a little bit more on game day, because it's a different feel when you're right here, right outside the stadium, than opposed to wherever, blocks away.
Right.
But, getting to be right here and, leading up to kickoff, getting them involved a little bit more. It was a desire that I think they had expressed that they would really like to do, and the administration made it happen. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere.
Well, I think students are probably in the past have kind of been, well, what do? I get up and run to the stadium and go for the game, yes, but maybe something to gather before. Now, Fordham will be tough. It's an 11 a.m. kick. That's early. But the next week, Buffalo's a 2:30 kick, so that'd be perfect. A midday thing. Go get a piece of pizza or whatever they're going to have over there. They'll have some food set up. Listen to maybe a live band or two on stage. I think that'd be a blast to be over there.
Yeah, and isn't it where certain groups are going to have spots as well?
They
so
are.
Certain organizations. But it's just a big,
Big kind of
area
party.
where, all the students can gather and kind of get amped up because, again, they're a big part of what that crowd does on game days and getting them involved and, amped up and going gets the rest of the crowd involved.
Jessica, every athletic department in the country is wrestling with how do we engage with the students. Because, and then, boy, it irritates me, but I do it too, is when they do crowd shots at games, whether it's football or basketball or whatever, and everybody's staring at their phones. They're just looking at the phones. You're like, the action is out there. Get involved in the action. So I know this is just a way for Husker Athletics to try to get the student body kind of even more into this. And when you have game day here, which we did a couple years ago, yeah, they get fired up for that. But this, I think, is going to try to stir a little bit more emotions. I think it's a great idea.
I think it didn't, the turnout and what all happened for game day, how incredible the students were for that, kind of spurred this on a little bit,
Yeah.
and how amped up they were. So, yeah, if you get, if there's so much buildup before the game, you just go in and then it kind of carries over.
Right.
It fills into the stadium, and that only, it continues to help a football team create a home field advantage.
It certainly does, and Memorial Stadium's a great place, but this is just an extension of the game day, and I think it's just a really good idea. So they'll do it for the first 4 home games of the year. Nebraska, after that, you have 2 home games in November, and it's hit and miss on the weather. You could have a good day, you could have a bad day. And who knows, if these are really, really successful, they may go beyond the 4. But right now they're just going to lock into the 4 and see kind of how it goes this year. But I think that's a really good way to kind of jump in there and get this thing started up. Mentioned soccer's in action again tonight. It's free if you're looking for something to do tonight. It's a beautiful night. It's so much cooler tonight than what it was Wednesday when we were out there. Go out there and enjoy some soccer. We do know, and I mentioned this a time or two on Wednesday show, the concession stands are open. You can get
something about the concession stand, and you brought it up first.
You can get a hot dog or a piece of pizza and have a good time with that. So, we wish them luck. They had a great start to their season, won 5-0 the other night over South Dakota. Hopefully they can keep that going there tonight as well. Man, I could not be more impressed. Last night at this time we were so distracted because the Field of Dreams game with the introductions were going on. What a fun night that was, and man, Fox blew it out with the ratings. They said it's the highest rated regular season baseball game in 15 years.
All of the production was just immaculate, and a Hollywood ending, just
How about that?
The whole production from the first when they walk out onto the, from the cornfields to the end of, the 9th inning heroics. I mean, it just could not be more perfect. It would have been off the charts regardless of how, the game ended, but then for it to have that kind of ending on top of that, it was perfect. It was a Hollywood story.
It was a Hollywood kind of production that ended with a Hollywood ending, right? I mean, it was just the whole thing was just fantastic how they put all that together. So that was so much fun last night. And again, you put on a good show, people will find it. And that's what happened with those ratings for Major League Baseball, which struggles to grab an audience. But and I can't imagine how many people this weekend are going to go watch that movie.
Well, and then just you saw they posted the open with Kevin Costner walking out onto the field, and then the players walking out onto the field from the cornfield, and how many people quote tweeted it. And then then it was, if you weren't watching it, if you didn't know it, it was all over social media. So the engagement that they got, just ratings alone, yes, on TV was off the charts, but then the engagement that they got on social media was through the roof as well. So very well done on all accounts by Fox and doing that. And Major League Baseball, because like you said, they need to get some more people paying attention.
A couple of the Yankee pitchers, when the teams were just getting to the stadium and getting loose, walked over because they wanted to see the original feel where the actual movie was shot. It's about 100 yards away, if that. And there's a corn maze between the two. They got lost in the maze. It took them a long time to get out. They had their cell phones, and they were calling each other and like, where are you at? I'm stuck in here. They finally got their way out of there, though.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, just their faces, I mean, there's a picture of Aaron Judge coming out that he just looked like a little kid, and yeah, for the movie being as old as it is, it's so timeless, and seeing how many, even this generation, the younger, baseball players, even the kids, as we talked about last night, the young kids watching it on their championship run, getting to watch the Field of Dreams on the Field of Dreams, just how many people this movie still touches, so it's really cool.
It was a feel-good story that I needed. I mean, a lot of nights we come on here and we're talking about conference realignment where things are getting shaken up a little bit, or this negative story, that this was such a good feel-good story that I think that's what we all kind of need, a lot more of that type of thing. So I went to bed feeling good last night just because I watched that game and how much fun I enjoyed watching that thing.
And a comment on here from Andy Harris about the great save from the former Husker, Aaron Bummer.
Aaron Bummer was phenomenal. He was filthy in his appearance last night. He's had a really good year for the White Sox. They're good. The White Sox have a chance, I think, to get to the World Series. They have really had a good year. On our text line, we got a text. Do you think the concert will be that run for future alcohol sales and memorial for Trev to look into? Maybe. I mean, it's been a hot-button issue. Nebraska's held out from selling alcohol, selling beer at any of their athletic events. They are going to sell beer here tomorrow night. I don't know. I'm not in Trev Albert's mind. I don't know what he's thinking, but perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of depends on what the numbers do and if that's an area where you want to generate revenue, because you have seen colleges across the country that, I mean, Texas, for one, brings in a lot of money from their alcohol sales. But, yeah, it's just kind of a, explore it, see get a feel for what it's going to do. I guess this weekend, maybe it's a good test run. But if it's a place where you want to maybe generate some money, I think absolutely it's a place where you could.
Yep, it's been a hot-button issue. You've got a lot of people very passionate on both sides of that issue. But we'll see how this goes tomorrow night. It's no doubt it's a trial run here at Memorial Stadium. All right, that's what we're dealing with here on the program. If you want to be a part of it here on a Friday night, 402-413-2400. Call or text. If you call us up, you're doing that on our Sports Sunday hotline, brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. We're also video streaming these 2 hours on our YouTube channel. There's a chat room in there. You can get in there and have some fun with some fellow Husker fans with that as well. When we come back, we'll hear from the head coach who met with the media after today's workout. We'll hear his comments next.
The game isn't just about winning or losing. It's about the snacks they share after they've used up all their energy in the field. It's the early morning practice before school and staying late after to get a couple more kicks in. It's the pride they feel for their team and the determination to always keep improving. Sure, the game isn't always about winning or losing, but when they've won the big game and celebration is in full swing, there's only one thing left for you to do. Get them home safe. Buckle up and back. Paid for by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Shop Woodhouse Chevy Buick in Missouri Valley, Iowa, and experience the Woodhouse difference, where our sales staff is here, ready to help you find your perfect new car, truck, or SUV. And with over 100 new vehicles on our lot with more arriving daily, we're sure to have something for you. From the Buick Encore to our heavy-duty trucks, we have the best selection available. Find new roads and shop all of our inventory and offers at WoodhouseChevy.com or visit us at our dealership for a test drive today, making car buying easier. This is Woodhouse.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Back to adventures in technology. Look away! A runaway train of IT problems is bearing down on our brave IT hero. But wait! It's Marco's Technology Assessment to the rescue with life-saving IT strategies. Our hero's technology issues are derailed. A tip of the hat to Marco. And our hero rides into the virtual sunset of our WebEx background. For more successful IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
We are back. Friday night sports Nightly here on the Huskers Sports Network. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a gorgeous Friday night in August. The head football coach met with the media. Second time that he has met with the media since the August camp has gotten underway. And they did scrimmage today. We'll start off with that. What kind of scrimmage did the team go through?
No, we had kind of a scrimmage today. Thought our guys were ready for it. We didn't have a ton of full tackle live periods, but put the guys in mock situations in our mock game today, and got a lot of good work out there.
Now, one thing that I think irked him a little bit, he talked about maybe a few too many penalties out there today. Here was his comment.
They're picking it up at different levels, and most guys, have 2 or 3 plays that look really good and then get confused on a play. That irritates you as a coach because you want everything to be perfectly clean, but that's just kind of the learning process for the young guys. I was frustrated today with we had Big Ten officials out there today, and we had too many flags on the ground. That's been a point of emphasis for us all camp. Gonna go watch the tape. Most of those are with the 2s and 3s on little things, but this team needs to understand that they're good enough to be in every game if we don't do the things to beat ourselves, and that's been the thing that we've talked to them about them the most ever since the end of last season, and I hope they get it, think they do, and we'll keep working on it.
It's not just the coaches that have been saying that about the penalties and the unnecessary mistakes, the hurting themselves. You heard Quentin Newsom say it last night when I interviewed him that, that was a problem in the first scrimmage that they were really mad about, not happy about. There's too many, which is always, anytime you have any, it's too many. So it's been a big focus, and the players are buying into that. As it's not just coach speak, the players are saying it too, and are really kind of trying to fix that as well throughout fall camp.
Better now than in a game, I guess.
Yeah.
Do it now. Learn from that. You hope you learn from that. But encouraging to hear that, they have Big Ten officials on hand to do a scrimmage, and that those are going to be the same guys that are calling penalties on Saturdays. So you hope you do learn from that. Did we learn, or have we learned where this running back rotation is shaking out? Here's the head coach.
Yeah, it's still to be determined a little bit, but I think there's a few guys that have separated themselves a little, and what order they're going to play in and how much they're going to play, I think we'll still determine.
Jessica, we heard the other night from one of those, and that was Savion Morrison. He was asked specifically about Savion and what kind of camp he has had to this point.
Yeah, Savion's a really talented kid. We try to recruit as much talent as we can, and kids come along at different times and on kind of a different schedule. Say really kind of hit his stride, I'd say, in the off-season program this summer, this winter. Looks a lot better, looks leaner, looks faster, and he's been doing a good job. So I think he's grown up from his first year here, and he's got a chance to help us.
I don't think there's any doubt he's in that mix.
Yeah, and I think Savion was a guy that obviously had all the kind of accolades, was highly recruited in high school. I don't think it sat well with him, just not that some of it was out of his control. He had the injury and COVID, but he didn't like, being sidelined, and he worked on his body. Which we've heard Ryan Held talk about. He's seems to be more fit to take a beating, to be able to handle more of a workload. I think he really got to work and handled his business leading up to fall camp, and he's doing the things he needs to do to, earn that time and to be handed the ball.
He's been here longer than the other two.
Yep.
Both Gabe and Marquise got here in January. Marquise transferring from USC, and then Gabe right out of high school. Gabe won a state championship in Georgia last December, and then immediately got to Lincoln and took part in the second semester, enabling him to go through spring ball. I just cannot wait to watch all three of those guys compete here in the fall. There's been some rumblings about some problems, injuries in that tight end room. Here's the head coach talking about Austin Allen and Travis Vokalek.
We were just giving Austin a little time off. Travis has been nicked up a little bit. You know, I'm going to report to you guys anytime we have somebody that's going to be out for season or extended amount of time. Got a bunch of guys nicked up, but we expect them back. Travis is one of those.
So what about that spot now? If you've got those two guys nicked up a little bit here, he talks more about the depth at that position.
Strange, we've been nicked up at that position. Every camp, it seems like there's one position where you kind of get a rash of things, and you know, Chris and Austin are going to be fine. Travis will be back. We had an appendectomy and just kind of another little fluke thing, and we've been a little hurting at depth there. The good thing is we've been getting young guys reps at that position that I think are going to help us down the road. So we'll keep getting those guys healthy and feel good about where we'll be for game one.
I'm kind of encouraged. He doesn't seem to be overly worried, does he?
Yeah, and that's a spot that they felt like they had depth, you know, before the season talking with Austin Allen. They knew that was a spot, even despite having a few injuries even leading in, that they had a lot of guys that kind of had played some ball and been around. And we're going to hear from Jeremiah Searles a little bit later, and he said it's not necessarily a bad thing that, you know, some of these younger guys are getting some reps with the ones right now throughout fall camp to kind of get them comfortable and acclimated. So if their time ever does come, that maybe they're more prepared for that come game time. But Austin Allen and Travis Vogel are guys that they know what they're doing, and they've been out there, and so missing a little bit of time here or there is not going to kill them. And I think we've seen how much Adrian is comfortable throwing the ball to Austin Allen.
That's a great point. All right. Vaccinations. We've had some questions to us about where does that stand with the team. The coach was asked about where does your team sit right now about getting COVID-19 vaccinations. Here's the answer.
We're doing everything we can to try to educate the guys. You know, we had some resistance to it, and Mark Meyer and our trainer has done a really good job. We had 4 people come in and talk to the team in the first 4 days. We provided opportunities for the guys that weren't vaccinated to get vaccinated, and I feel really good about where we are numbers-wise, and we'll keep working on it.
I think that's changed, Jessica, in the last couple of weeks. I don't know that Nebraska was very comfortable when he was in Indianapolis at Big Ten Media Days. Seems like they've turned the corner a little bit. You know, I mentioned the other day when Trev was speaking to the broadcasters the other day at the convention that was a point of emphasis because of the ruling that's come out since Big Ten Media Days, that if you don't have a team, that you're not able to field a team, you will take a forfeit. It will be a loss. And so, you know, you do not want to lose wins. You don't want to lose an opportunity to play a home game in front of your fans in a packed stadium. So it's been a big emphasis for them to, hey, we cannot afford to not play a game. We can't afford to take a loss. It's not worth it. It's legitimate to have concerns and questions. I don't begrudge anybody for asking questions about it. I think we've learned on this virus that it affects older people a lot more than it does younger people. And so, you know, I can see some hesitancy from healthy, strong, strapping 19, 20, 21-year-old guys to go, do I really need that? So I get that. But also, to your point, you don't want to be the one that causes your team to maybe lose a game because you didn't take it seriously enough. Yeah, and I believe we were reading some of the rules and whatnot that the NCAA put out about testing, and that you won't be tested if you're vaccinated unless you have close contact. So it's still kind of a similar verbiage there. But if you know, there's a lot of, if you have a big chunk of numbers that have not been vaccinated and then it starts spreading throughout a team, I mean, that can be pretty detrimental, and not just, you know, to Nebraska, but to teams across the country. So I think it's a similar message, not just here, but across the country, that, hey, we got to figure out how can we keep this team as healthy as possible. I think someone in the chat room knew exactly how many minutes and seconds we are from kickoff. Then wasn't that in the last? Oh yeah, it was. I think it's counted down a little bit more. But when they came on, 14 days, 17 hours, and 55 minutes. So. Well, the coach was asked, when do you in this camp turn your attention to that game? When do you kind of get out of camp mode and get into game week mode? Here was his answer.
Going to start a little earlier. Feel like, especially with the guys that we're going to count on to play a lot this year, they're really comfortable with scheme and what we're doing. Have gotten good reps to work on technique and fundamentals, and we're going to turn our attention to first game a little earlier.
I would almost think early next week. I mean, they practice tomorrow, off Sunday. I think probably next week you start to kind of narrow your focus down.
It was funny how, and Jeremiah made a comment about this, like every coach that he's ever known, and that we hear this every year, says, hey, we're going to get the depth chart out earlier. Hey, we're going to get those. But then it always kind of pushes back and pushes back. It seems like Jeremiah thinks that probably it's pretty settled, but it's within the locker room, because you want to get those guys settled in as you start moving into preparations for a huge game out of the gate. But it just might not be made public knowledge as early as we might have thought.
And it may not before the game either.
Right.
They may not put this out before they kick it off, but if you're in that locker room, you're on that practice field, you know where you stand. You know if you're getting reps or you're not. You know which groups you're working with. I think most players have a pretty good feel for where they are, and I got a feeling these coaches do too. All right, we do have a concert, Garth Brooks, tomorrow night. The coach was asked, one, if he was going to go, and two, what were some of his favorite Garth songs?
Yeah, I am. I'm excited. I'm just excited to see the stadium full again. I've never been in my box before. My wife's been in there. I've never been in it, so that's where I'm going to sit. It'll be the first time I ever saw it.
Got a favorite Garth song?
Favorite Garth song? Oh, man. Grew up with that stuff. Calling Baton Rouge, probably one of them. Thunder Rolls is everybody's favorite. Cowboy Lament, I really liked. That's a good question, by the way.
Like the question. I think that was Kevin Suits, who we had on the program last night.
I would like to take credit for us making him think of that question. No, and then he came back to it again and said another one later, but none of them were Friends in Low Places.
No, left the big one off, didn't he? That's too easy. That's low-hanging fruit to throw that one out there. Well, that's good. You know, what a nice breather. I would guess a handful of the coaches are going to go. Nice kind of mid-camp breather to go relax a little bit, clear your mind. The Sunday's an off day for the players. The coaches obviously will probably come in and break down tape and do that type of thing. But it's a long season. You can't burn yourself out here in August. I'm glad this is happening at the midway point.
Yeah, and it seems like a few of them are Garth Brooks fans. So a cool opportunity. And again, as mentioned off the top, that Garth said about the opportunity to play in front of this crowd, which, it's known across the country that this crowd, this stadium is a special place. And so to get to experience it, at full capacity for the first time in 2 years, it will be really special as well.
I was told today that they had ticket requests from really across the country. People in Pennsylvania and Florida are coming to town for this concert. People who love Garth will travel coast to coast to go watch him perform.
I keep hearing how amazing of a show he puts on. So, by the way, we've got a couple of comments, Mike and Andrew, if we can put on the... Can we show the live feed at all across the stadium, the top of the stadium?
We probably can see just the stage.
Yeah, just the top of the stage.
Probably all we can see, but there's not much to look at.
We're not allowed to stream any of this, but we'll do what we can, guys.
Yeah. I think it's 7 o'clock, so what are we at? We're about 20 till 7, so we may be able to hear some noise coming out of there here in just a little bit. All right, that's what the coach had to say today. What piqued your interest? What questions did that present to you? Love to get your thoughts. 402-413-2400 with a call or a text, or you can jump in the chat room and fire off questions in there as well. More Sports Nightly coming up.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. With a combination of strong academics and affordability, UNL offers an excellent educational value. This year, the university was named one of the Princeton Review's best value colleges. And the new Nebraska Promise and Career Scholarship programs are connecting more hardworking Huskers with financial help so they can pursue their dreams.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Husker fans, stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Big Red on Facebook and Twitter. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding NU athletics, including game results, ticket promotions, and Husker prizes. Log on to also follow several sports-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Become a fan today at facebook.com/Huskers and twitter.com/Huskers to join and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS. So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
We're back, Sports Island, here on a Friday night. Time to tell you to buckle up and put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Friday night. We just heard some comments from the head coach after practice earlier today. Time for us to get to the phones. We'll talk to Pete in West Point next. Good evening, Pete. Welcome.
Good evening. How you doing?
Good.
I guess I've got a question on the COVID-19. If you've been vaccinated, you can still carry.
Do we lose you, Pete? Uh-oh. I think we may have lost Pete. Pete, I'm going to put you on hold. You may have to call us back. I think he maybe dropped off and hit a bad cell area. He's right. I think I knew where he was going. I think, yes, in fact, we're hearing a lot of people that have been vaccinated that are still acquiring the virus. So it doesn't, but it's supposed to ward off in a lot of cases the virus. If you get it, though, it also helps limit the severity of the virus to you.
Yeah, we're hearing people that, have had the vaccine that maybe contacted it, the symptoms not be as bad, the Delta variant or whatever, that it doesn't maybe hit you as hard if you didn't have the vaccine.
But he's right. It's not bulletproof. Just like getting a flu shot every year doesn't make you bulletproof from getting the flu.
Right.
It's supposed to just help you ward it down and maybe not make it as severe. So I think that's where Pete was going with that call. We teased this earlier. You did a fun piece that went out on social earlier today where you decided to go kind of talk to some of the student athletes and see what kind of Garth Brooks knowledge you ran into. What did you find?
Well, a little mixed. A lot of people did not know what was going on, but yeah, it was hilarious. I was laughing really hard. Had some creative answers trying to fill in the lyrics, but we had Sevion Morrison was there. He's got a great personality, by the way. He's going to be a fan favorite, whether he's the #1 starter or not. He's going to be in front of the camera, and he's got a huge personality. Of course, Garrett Nelson, he has a huge personality. He knew the lyrics, right? So he even breaks down a little rendition for us. And then had a couple of volleyball players. Allie Batenhorst did not know lyrics. And, who else was on there? Oh, and then Cam Taylor-Britt as well. So those are the three voices that you're going to hear in this piece right now. Have you heard what's happening here inside the stadium on Saturday?
What's going on?
Pretty big concert.
Okay.
Have you heard what's happening here inside the stadium on Saturday?
What's going on?
Pretty big concert.
Okay. Pretty big concert.
Have you heard of Garth Brooks?
Yes, I have. Yeah. I have.
Can you name one of his big songs?
No, I cannot.
Okay, well, we're going to ask you to fill in the lyrics of some of his #1 hits. So he's got over 20 #1 hits. So, Blame It All on My Roots.
Help me, please.
I showed up in boots.
Oh, okay. I have, but I didn't think of that.
How about And the Thunder Rolls?
And the thunder rolls. Hey, y'all can help me? Somebody? I need help.
How about I call in Baton Rouge? Operator, won't you put me on through?
I want to see you. I want to call you.
Gotta send my love down to Baton Rouge.
Okay.
So you're from Oklahoma. You gotta know who Garth Brooks is.
I just figured out who he was yesterday.
Yeah, what do you know about him?
I know that he is like the Tupac of country music.
Okay, that's good. So do you know any of his songs?
Nope.
So we're gonna have you fill in some of the lyrics here. Okay, so Blame It All on My Roots.
I got some snake in my boots.
Pretty close. I showed up in boots. It's pretty close. What about And the Thunder Rolls?
Just keep on holding. Just keep on holding.
Garrett, you a Garth Brooks fan?
I sang his Friends in Low Places song in front of the team. That was about it.
Yeah. That's the only song you know?
Pretty much, yeah.
So you'll know it then. So Blame It All on My Roots.
Yeah. Showed up in boots.
Yeah. Nobody has gotten that down here.
Ruined my black tie affair.
Yes. Okay.
Last one to know. I was the last one to show. I was the last one you thought you'd see there.
Pitch perfect right there for Garrett Nelson.
Well, Greg, A for trying, A for effort, right?
At least he knew the words, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I was dying laughing.
Were you surprised of the lack of knowledge for Garth or not?
No, not really. I mean, his first #1 hit came in 1989.
Right.
The 5th and 6th year seniors, the super seniors, were
Weren't-
born in 1999. A lot of them.
I told you this the other day. If there were some baseball players in there, I think you'd have had a bigger hit rate because I think they listen more country.
Someone told me I should have asked the offensive linemen. Some of them
They
would
might
know.
have known some of that. Yeah.
But yeah.
Cam Jurgens, he probably would have been able to rattle a few off for you. That was fun.
But it was fun to do that. Some of them. Once you kind of got into the chorus, I got friends in low places.
Yeah.
But I would have thought people would have known the iconic opening line of "Blame It All on My Roots." By the way, we've got some requests on here for us to sing "Friends in Low Places."
Yeah, that's not
but
going to happen.
We'll leave it to Garrett Nelson
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
and Jeremiah. That's his go-to karaoke song.
Oh, jeez.
So
Yeah, I might pass on that too. Pete called back. He did want to know if you've been vaccinated, does it and you get the virus, does it limit the time you need to be away? We're still waiting for some clarity from the league about what's going to, if you do test positive, what is going to be the lag time. It was at one point 21 days. They've cut it back to about 10. I would think it would be somewhere in that 10. But also, if you are vaccinated, you do not have to test regularly. So that is one benefit of getting the vaccination. You don't have to test. Now, you can still get it, and you may get symptoms and then have to test. But if you do get the vaccination, you can skip the testing protocols.
I couldn't remember. Is it, though, if you have been, exposed to it and you've been vaccinated, you have to be tested then? Or I couldn't remember on that, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, because somewhere along, if you've been exposed and start showing symptoms, that's kind of when you have to start testing. But if you have been vaccinated, you do not have to be tested unless you might have been a close contact with somebody.
Right. All right. So, Pete, I wish we had more clarity. We don't. We're waiting for the league to come out with some information. And really kind of waiting on Nebraska to come out with some more stuff as well. Let's go to the phones. Pat, you're up next on Sports Island. Good evening.
Hi, Greg. I'm curious. You'd mentioned it a little bit earlier and talked about the tight end. I'd be interested to get your take on what you think that's going to do maybe to their offense going forward, and if you think it's going to put any more pressure on the running backs at all, or Or what do you think?
As for the tight ends, what? It's if some guys are out?
Well, yeah, I mean, because Allen and
I don't think
Vokalek, they're...
Yeah, but Allen, I don't think is hurt really at all. I think Allen's fine. I don't think that's going to be an out. But it sounds like there may be a little bit more of a separation for Vokalek. But I think I think Austin's going to be fine.
So was it just like rest? They said.
Yeah, I think he was nicked up. They had a big scrimmage on Sunday. I think he got nicked up, but he was out there walking around. He had his jersey on. He just didn't have his pads on. But he was out there walking around and sticking his nose in the huddle and stuff. So I don't think he's that serious at all.
Oh, okay. I guess I thought maybe he had like an injury or something that they didn't talk about.
Nope.
All right. Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of the impression, but you heard the clip from the coach. He said, no, Austin's got a little nicks and bruise, but he's fine, and that Travis may miss a little bit of time, but it's not near a season ender at all.
Yeah, and Jeremiah said that. This time of camp, you have that. You have guys that are nicked up and banged up, and you just got to kind of – you can't push it if someone is, and especially a guy like Austin Allen, who has solidified himself in the offense, knows what he's doing, has kind of developed that chemistry with Adrian. He's going to be okay if he misses a couple, 2 or 3 days of practice.
And it's James Carney from Norris and A.J. Rollins from Creighton Prep. 2 true freshmen are getting some reps right now, and that's good for them. Carney's a good-looking player and was here for the spring. He had some injury issues, as we heard from Sean Beckton a week or so ago when we played that position breakout. But this is good for James Carney and A.J. Rollins to get some extra reps with Vokalek maybe not being out there on a daily basis. All right, need to take a break. 402-413-2400, the number if you want to dot us up with a comment or question or fire off a text. More Sports Nightly coming up.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Shop with confidence at Woodhouse Buick GMC and find your next vehicle. Our knowledgeable sales team is eager to help you find a vehicle. Plus, get you on the road faster with our streamlined sales and buying process that you can start online. We have over 100 new Buick and GMC models with the features you want at a smart price. Visit our indoor showroom or shop online anytime at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. Experience the difference and shop Woodhouse Buick GMC first.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is caught in the jagged jaws of ransomware attacks and phishing scams. Help! Wait! It's Marco's Network Security Solutions to the rescue with life-saving ways to detect hungry cybervillains and stop them cold in their tracks. With Marco's Network Security Solutions, our IT hero lives to surf another day. For more successful network security adventures, go to marconet.com.
Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Final few minutes of hour number 1. Still time if you want to be a part of the program at 402-413-2400 with a call or a text, or if you want to jump into our YouTube chat room and fire off a question in there, you can do that as well. You were pulling up what the NCAA put out for guidelines, kind of a reference point for conferences and schools to go by. These are just their suggestions. What did just remind everybody what the NCAA said about a week ago.
So the NCAA recommends not testing fully vaccinated players and coaches unless they are symptomatic. Meanwhile, unvaccinated individuals would be tested 3 times a week. If at least 5% of a team tests positive, all symptomatic people in close contacts will need to be tested. Additionally, vaccinated athletes also don't have to be quarantined after a close contact. So that's where I said that wrong earlier. I wasn't sure about the close contact if you are vaccinated, but you do not have to quarantine if you are in close contact exposed to COVID.
Very good. So again, that's the NCAA, and we are waiting on the Big Ten. Kevin Warren at Media Day said they're going to compile everybody's information and then 8 schools' information, then kind of put out a blanket statement on that. We do not have that yet from the league. Interesting set of posts from former Husker Ndamukong Suh earlier today. This was just kind of out of nowhere. I mean, he's in the middle of training camp with the Bucks, and he put out a series of tweets about just kind of what he was dealing with back in his college days in Nebraska. I'm just going to read these too. It's a fairly short read here. He said, "The college years were some of the most intense of my life. I worked hard, came into my own, and got my shot at the NFL, but it almost didn't go down like that, and you would have never heard of me." The story is about how tough decisions and the rewards of getting it right. In high school, I was weighing my options. Berkeley, great school. Oregon State, close to home. Nebraska, top 5 engineering and elite football program. Mostly, I wanted to be near home. I almost chose Oregon State. Ultimately, I'd say football was only about 40% of my decision. What I thought I wanted when I started college was, A, get a scholarship, B, get my engineering degree, C, play football, go home and build my dad's business. But when I got to UNL and started freshman year, all of that changed. I started playing and saw some of the older guys get ranked best in the Big 12. A switch flipped in my brain. I didn't see anything they were doing that I couldn't. I knew I could be a top draft pick and saw the path to getting there. I focused in, and 06 was a great season. But I was homesick. I constantly thought about transferring back to Oregon State and finishing my degree. Or I could stay and keep being challenged by Bo Pelini. He said I had potential, but my technical game could improve. Fighting through those feelings to stay was really hard for me. Then came 08. It was a hell of a time for my dad. His business lost half of what he had worked so hard to build. I felt the weight of my family fall to me. If I could go pro, I could set them up for a long, long time. Knowing what I was working for made the work worth doing. I switched up my training and focused, and everything had to be 10 times better than the competition. I had my best season yet and started making a lot of noise nationally. I was projected to be a late first-round pick. Then Mom laid down the law, and my plans changed overnight. She said I had to finish school one way or the other. If I left after my 3rd year, I would have I'd have to come back eventually to get my degree. I knew that if I left, there was no way I was coming back. And since Mom was always asking, I decided to stay for 09. Good call. 09 turned out to be another breakout season. In that extra year, I solidified everything I'd worked so hard for, and then ended up the 2nd overall pick in 2010. Looking back, if I had left in 08, I would have been middle of the pack. Thanks, Mom. A few things I've learned during this period that helped me every day since. Moms know best. Yep. Clarify your motivation. Let that drive you every day. Timing is everything, and sooner isn't always better. Weigh your options, but in the end, trust your instincts. Making the right choices at the right time is what drives our lives forward with positivity. And if you've come through some tough times and you broke through over the years, I want to hear about it. And so that was his thread. What a motivational message from Ndamukong.
I feel like he's had a few of those come out this summer. He's been very philosophical. What is that word?
Philosophical. Yeah. You're close. You're close. Ballpark.
Anyways, he's been very, I guess, thoughtful in some of his posts and kind of communicating some of the things that he's kind of gone through throughout his years. But an engineering major, you know he is smart as a whip. But you could tell he was a smart player on the field, too.
No doubt.
And I've talked to a few players that have been on teams with him and say how, he's very, very smart with how he handles himself on the field, off the field.
Yeah.
People like being in the locker room with him.
Before he signed his first contract when he got drafted, he endowed a scholarship to the engineering college and made a major gift to Nebraska's to the weight facilities here. He's a proud alum, and we're glad to be able to claim Ndamukong as one of our own. 1 hour in the books, 2 to go. Coming up, we're going to hear some of Jessica's chat with Jeremiah Searles. We'll have our Friday 5 and our winners and losers of the week. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Huskers on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and more. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding Nebraska athletics, including game times, results, ticket promotions, prize giveaways, and more. Log on to also follow several sport-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Join today and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world. Visit huskers.com/social media to see all of our accounts.
Did you ever buy something and get more? More than you expected? Emeritus offers insurance, employee benefits, and financial services, but we deliver so much more. The comfort of a human voice when you need it. The confidence of flashing a beautiful smile. The relief that your family can keep living the life they love. The serenity of knowing you've planned well and can enjoy life. That's what we really deliver. We call it fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services, and much more.
Good evening. I'm Greg Sharpe. Here is tonight's Sports Checker. The Huskers held a situational scrimmage today. Afterwards, the head coach, Scott Frost, talked about what he saw.
No, we had kind of a scrimmage today. Thought our guys were ready for it. We didn't have a ton of full tackle live periods, but put the guys in mock situations in a mock game today, and got a lot of good work out there.
Huskers will have another practice tomorrow before taking Sunday off. Nebraska Athletics announced today that they will host their first ever student tailgate this season. It'll be called the Boneyard and will take place at 4 home games this season: the Fordham game, the Buffalo game, the Northwestern and Michigan contest. The tailgating experience will feature 60 tents set up with student organizations, food and music. The site for this will be the Donald and Lorena Meyer Commons area, which is just north of the Nebraska Union. The Husker soccer team back on the pitch tonight, hosting North Dakota State. The match begins here in just a couple of minutes. It's free to the public. This is the final tune-up before next Thursday's regular season opener against Western Illinois. The August graduation is taking place this weekend in Lincoln. 13 former and current Huskers are set to be handed their diploma. That list includes former Husker basketball star Isaiah Roby and current football players DeAndre Thomas and Travis Vokalek. Scores from around Major League Baseball. The Reds lead the Phillies 3-0. They're in the top of the fourth. Boston 4, Baltimore 1, top of the third inning. The Indians have jumped in front of the Tigers 2-0. They're in the fourth. The Dodgers 1, the Mets 0, top of the third. The Cubs have jumped out in front of the Marlins 4-1, bottom of the second. Just about to get underway, Kansas City hosting St. Louis. Oakland down in Texas to face the Rangers. The Rays and Twins get together in the Twin City. Braves and Nationals in a rain delay. Same thing with the Brewers and the Pirates in Pittsburgh. Later tonight, the Astros will battle the Angels. The Padres will take on the Diamondbacks. The Rockies and Giants get together, and the Blue Jays and the Mariners. A couple of NFL preseason games on tap tonight. It's Tennessee 10, Atlanta 0, and Buffalo has gone ahead of Detroit 10-3. Later tonight, it's the Cowboys and the Cardinals out in Phoenix. Those are today's headlines. I'm Greg Sharpe.
Live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network, bringing you the best Husker sports experience.
Kubik sends a pass, made Gonzalez. It's over the net. Shut back by Stivrins. It's in. They did it. Match point, Big Red. 15-10 in the fifth. Fighting back from the abyss, down 2 sets love. Nebraska claims opening night against Ohio State. 15-10 set 5. My goodness.
Lauren Stivrins is a great leader, and Lauren was talking to those guys through when we were struggling, and she got them to change their mindset. And then I think Lexi led the way, and Nicklin, and so those are the guys that got to do that. Then it was fun to watch. We played Husker volleyball.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are. I got like stereo sound going on. The Garth Brooks sound check is going on in the arena, and the Husker drum line is having practice right now. I got drummers, I got Garth. It's all going on.
It's sensory overload. Yeah, it is. We got band practicing, which is also kind of exciting because it means like that's right around the corner when the band starts practicing.
One of my favorite things about game days, walking in toward the stadium 3-4 hours before kickoff, and the band's having their rehearsal in the stadium, and you can hear them, and you're like, oh yeah, that's beautiful. Beautiful.
The Kansas State band, by the way, they're really friendly. They come in there and practice. You've been down there, right? Yeah. And they make a day of it down there when they're warming up. But no, it's always, it's game day, and you're hearing the drum line. It just makes you think football season. And we're hearing it right now, right outside the stadium. So
fantastic. Great stuff. So good things. Garth's concerts tomorrow night. This city will be jumping with that happening. Looks like the weather's going to be pretty nice. We've gotten rid of some of the stifling heat that we had earlier in the week, and so that is all good. So coming up this hour, we are going to have our Friday Five. We'll go over what we think are the 5 biggest topics that we covered throughout the week, and we'll also hear from Jeremiah Searles. He and Jessica have a weekly podcast. They recorded that earlier today. We'll give you a little snippet of what you can go if you go download the whole thing and listen to that. We'll have our winners and losers at the end of the hour as well. Let's get into the Friday Five. I'm going to lead us off first. I'm going to start with Husker soccer. putting 5 in the net the other night. That was the MO coming off last spring, Jessica. They couldn't score, but they certainly got it going the other night. What really excited me was a lot of it was freshmen that were providing the offense for them.
Yeah, and talking with a couple of the players, they said that the freshmen have looked solid going into the season. Throughout preseason, I think they were really excited about the signing class that they brought in, and boy, they showed it. And, I don't think any of the freshmen started, but we knew that a lot of them would get playing time, and you can kind of take a lot away from those exhibition games. I have another one tonight, but, seeing how they're going to do an actual game action, and boy, they delivered.
As we know, confidence is such a big part of sports.
Absolutely.
And if they can kind of feel like, hey, we can be a good offensive club, that's going to go a long way. Obviously, they play really well defensively. They were good last spring defensively. That wasn't their issue. They couldn't score. It's hard to win in any sport if you don't score. So good start, 5-0 over South Dakota, playing the Bison right now. They've got that match underway out at Hibner Stadium right now, and then they'll get it going for real next Thursday night. So they're the first Husker sport to get going here in 2021-22. So that's one of my Friday fives is Husker soccer underway.
It's a busy weekend around here. We've got Garth Brooks, but also graduation happening at PBA tomorrow, and highlighted by a few former Husker student athletes, including Isaiah Roby, who I got a chance to talk to a couple weeks ago and just talked about the importance of getting his degree, but also just how helpful the Nebraska academic staff were in helping him, because you're playing in the NBA, and how they helped him do his online classes, stay on top of everything that he needed, all of his credits. But there's a few of them in the list. I think there was 13 former Husker players. Eric Johnson, and then we talked about Travis Vokalek. He's going to graduate as well. So there's 13 of them that are going to be walking, and we'll have more coverage of that. But just so cool, especially for Isaiah Roby to get to come back. You heard Nadama Kinsu talking about his mom, saying the importance of getting that degree, and student athletes here, that's really important to them.
August isn't one of the bigger graduation ceremonies. You have 3 a year. You have the August, you have December, and you have the big one in May. So this number is down a little bit. You mentioned Eric Johnson. What a great story. Eric Johnson played basketball here in the late 80s. So here's a guy who's over 50 years old getting his diploma this weekend. What a great story. A lot of our seasoned fans and listeners will remember Eric played on some of those Mo Iba teams in the late 80s. Good, solid player. His brother is Vinnie Johnson, who was great star in the NBA with the Detroit Pistons. He was known as the Microwave. That was his brother. But I just love the stories of a guy who's over the age of 50, that it means that much for him to get that diploma. Good for him. Fantastic.
And the folks here, the academic staff, are, bending over backwards. And if someone comes back and says, hey, I want to figure out how to get my degree, they don't just, quit just because you're leaving right now. They're going to help you and find whatever ways they can to help you get that degree.
Dennis LeBlanc and his crew do an amazing job. It is fantastic what they do with current athletes and, as you mentioned, former athletes as well. All right, my next Friday Five was we finally got the women's basketball non-conference schedule. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting. We had Matt Coatney on the other night. There are some sneaky good names on here. This is not filled with Power 5 schools. They have just the one Power 5 school, and that's the matchup that they'll have in the ACC Big Ten Challenge with Wake Forest. But Drake is a really good program that will be coming to PBA in December. Matt Coatney was talking about Maine, who went like 17-3 last year. They are a really good program back east. Creighton has had Nebraska's number. They've won the last 5. Fresno State, they'll have a chance to match up with them out on a little classic Thanksgiving weekend in San Diego. So maybe it's not a bunch of big names, but some quality teams that are going to have good seasons, which is big for your net at the end of the year if you're going to get in the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. It's going to be some fun matchups. You mentioned Fresno State, as we've talked about with the NIL, the Cavender twins, who are, some of the up-and-coming stars in women's college basketball. They've been really big winners in the NIL deal, and they can shoot the lights out of the gym. So that will be a fun potential matchup. And Drake can always shoot it really well. So, there's going to be some fun matchups for sure. So, shout out to the Hastings Little League baseball team. They are headed to Williamsport, Pennsylvania for the Little League World Series. And it was a game. What a great game. 2-1 victory over Davenport, Iowa. Jude Johnson makes the diving catch for the final out. So shout out to Hastings headed to the Little League World Series.
There's no better way than to beat a team from Iowa to get yourself to punch your ticket to Williamsport, which is such a cool venue. And that tournament captures so many people's attention in late August. It's incredible how big of an event that has turned into, and good for them representing Nebraska. Fantastic. Good luck to that group, and we wish them safe travels and hope that they do a nice job. I'm sure they will, representing the state. I think that starts next week as well.
And it will be all over ESPN.
Oh.
So
they've had, I think, 2 games already this week on ESPN.
Yeah, let me see when they play. The Hastings squad will play Sioux Falls for the Midwest Regional Championship at 9 a.m. on Saturday.
Okay, there you go. Fantastic. So tomorrow morning, get up and watch some of that.
Oh, that's tomorrow's Saturday. Wow.
Yeah, we're already to Saturday, so you can watch that in the morning and come see Garth Brooks tomorrow. I mean, what a great day right there. I planned everybody's day for you right here on Sports Sunday. That's what I do. I'm a planner for everybody.
Greg's an event planner.
We're going to wrap it up. My favorite story of the week was the Field of Dreams game last night in Dyersville, Iowa. I thought Major League Baseball planned it, executed it to a T, and then the game was just the icing on the cake. But what the dramatics, the images, having Costner there, coming out of the cornfield, the teams walking out of there, it was fabulous.
Just the pictures, and then the game lived up to everything. You know, the fact that it was a good, close game and came down to the 9th inning, and it was a storybook ending, and it was a Hollywood production, and it just all came together so perfectly. And Major League Baseball needed a night like that.
It did. Ratings were through the roof. Fox announced this afternoon it was the highest rated in-season, regular season game for Major League Baseball in 15 years. They knocked it out of the park. Major League Baseball has already said they're going to go back and play the event again next year. It won't have near the impact next year because it's kind of been done. But that's fine. They want to do that. That's okay. But
maybe you can get a big matchup.
Could be.
I mean, but I don't know how you...
Maybe you have James Earl Jones there. Maybe you have him come out of the corn next year. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to match everything that happened, but if it still went over well enough that I think you got to try it again.
Yeah, I agree. Well done. It was a really, really neat thing last night. All right, that's our Friday Five. Love doing that little segment. Time to tell you to buckle up and put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. If you want to be a part of the program with a call or a text, 402-413-2400. We also live stream our 2-hour show each night on our YouTube channel that has a chat room that you can get in there with some fellow Husker fans and banter back and forth, asking questions that we can funnel through those as well. When we come back, we'll let you hear a snippet of this week's, what's the title?
Sideline Scoop with Searles.
Sideline Scoop with Searles. That's a tongue twister. I like that, though.
Yeah.
Good for him.
The Sideline Scoop.
All right, we'll get into that. Let's hear some of that coming up next.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Look away! A runaway train of IT problems is bearing down on our brave IT hero. But wait! It's Marco's Technology Assessment to the rescue with life-saving IT strategies. Our hero's technology issues are derailed. A tip of the hat to Marco. And our hero rides into the virtual sunset of our WebEx background. For more successful IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
Husker fans, the 2021 athletic season marks the beginning of mobile tickets for Husker sporting events. Tickets and parking passes for all sports will be available for download in your ticket account on the official Huskers app. It's a safe and easy way to guarantee your entry into some of the most exciting sporting events around. Simply download your ticket from your ticket account or the Huskers app and save to your mobile phone wallet before you leave home. Scan at the gate and enjoy the game. Go Big Red!
402-413-2400. That's the number if you want to dial us up with a comment or question or fire off a text as we roll through our Friday night edition of Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network. We also have a live stream up in the chat room, and there's been some activity and some people firing some stuff at us. What do we got?
Yeah, it's a lively chat every night. It's been awesome, especially as we get closer to football season. They've been, chatting amongst themselves, but they also, send us some questions to answer. And Andy Harris is a guy that's here every night. He's one of our most loyal watchers as well. He had a question for us last night that we talked about. We said we needed to think about it, but following up about what would be our dream NIL deals. If we were a student athlete signing NIL deals, what would be our picks for that, our number one dream deals?
That's good. Mine would probably deal with food. Yeah. I don't know if you've picked up on that, but
concession stands.
We have the perfect sponsor that I hope they're listening tonight, because the Nebraska Beef Council. I would love to do a little NAI deal with the Nebraska Beef Council. Let me have that. Give me a side of beef or something. I do everything for that. That'd be great. That's mine.
I am a sandwich person, so if there's a sandwich shop, that would be my deal. Any kind of sandwich shop. Also, if there's a pet company that's like pet treats, Sammy, I've got to basically throw treats at him every time I leave him at home. So a pet deal and a shoe deal for sneakers. I love tennis shoes. And I don't know about one specific brand, but maybe like a Champs or a Finish Line. So those would be my three. Okay,
very good.
Sandwiches, tennis shoes, and dog treats.
Hopefully that satisfied our chat room buddy there, those checked off the box for him.
They said Jessica, toothpaste, Greg, hot dogs.
And we do. We have Fairbury brand hot dogs, so they are a fan. They're a favorite of mine. So we had discussion about what to do with coin tosses that came up earlier. It's really a trend in football. It's kind of happened in the last 10, 15 years that if you win the toss, you defer your choice to the second half. Gives you the chance to have wraparound possessions around halftime to do that, and it also usually gets you the wind at your back in the fourth quarter. So that's why people keep going, why don't you, when you win the toss, take the football? Nebraska does occasionally do that. Kind of depends on the weather conditions for the day, but for the reasons I just laid out, a lot of times you want to defer your choice to the second half. So hopefully that helps people understand that.
Yeah, that was an ongoing discussion back and forth for a while, so I'm sure they'll appreciate you chatting about that one. So
anything else in there we need to tackle?
I need to go back through it a little bit, and I'll let you know.
All right, very good. All right, you and Jeremiah Searles are going to have a weekly sit-down, little podcast each week during the football season. I think this is fabulous to get Jeremiah's take each and every week, and you recorded a new one today.
Yeah, so he'll be joining you on the broadcast on the sidelines this year, and just kind of getting his thoughts. When he came on the show the other night, everybody loved hearing his perspective, so I thought another way that we could get him involved. So we taped one a couple weeks ago. We did one today. We'll take a break next week, but then once we get into game week, we'll have one every single Friday for you, the Sideline Scoop with Searles. And here's a little snippet of it so you can get a taste of what we kind of chatted about, and then you can check out the full version. It's up right now on the Huskers Radio Network podcast.
Yeah, it's about efficient runs. Coach Tony Sperano in Minnesota used to chart our efficiency in the run game. And an efficient run is 3.5 yards or more. And if you do the math, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, it's a first down, right? That way, if you run the football every single time on first, second, and third down and you have efficient runs, it should be a first down. So you measure an efficiency. A lot of that plays on the O-line and tight ends and blocking, but a lot of it, too, also falls on the running back. Is the running back going to be in the right spot and know it's okay if I get 3 yards here? It's all right if I put my nose down and there's not a huge hole there, but I'm going to punch through it and I'm going to fall forward for 3.5. Versus a guy, I mean, I loved watching him play. Maurice Washington, he was here a few years back. He used to be the one that would make the guy miss and go 60, and he did it quite often. But sometimes he would try and force the big play too much and bounce outside and maybe lose 1 or 2 instead of, hey, just take the 3. Because if you're consistent running the football team, which Nebraska needs to be this year with the running backs, you wear teams out. Because those 3.5 that are in the first quarter, second quarter, turn into 6, turn into 7, and then eventually you just stick with it and you pop one all the way through in the end. And the other piece of that is giving the offensive coordinator confidence in the run game. I've played for a lot of offensive coordinators, and they're all the same. You make them nervous in the first quarter, and the run game's not going, they're going to stray away from it. As much as they want to be a running football team, the goal is to score points, right? So initially, this group's got to make sure that they get running the football early in games so that Scott and Lubick and those guys are like, yep, let's party on. Let's run the football and not get all nervous and be like, oh, we're going to throw the football 20 times now because that's the worst, and it's no one else's fault but your own.
And you hear about, that and the consistency of running the football, not putting it on the ground, but also the pass protection. How much does that kind of play into it for these running backs as well, trying to earn playing time?
Yeah, so, I mean, if you want to be more than just a third down scat back, which a lot of teams have, you've got to be able to pick up blitzes. And that's one thing that in college and in the NFL, young backs, whether it's a freshman, whether it's a rookie, second-year guy, struggle with because it's new. I mean, in high school, it was, hey, the offensive line sliding right, and you have that one guy as a running back. Well, now it's, hey, they're sorting 3 for 4 over here. You have everybody else, whether it's a safety, a corner, I mean, whatever it might be. And a lot of times those are critical situations. Third downs, got to have it. First and second down that are obvious passing, right, in a 2-minute drill or end-of-half drill. And those are things that as a running back, you have to make sure it's not just about running the football. It's can you be an every down back? Can you be a Christian McCaffrey that maybe not physically, but mentally, right? That dude can do it all. Or are you a guy that's like Adrian Peterson, who was primarily first and second down because he didn't like picking up blitzes. And he struggled mentally with some of that stuff too. But I think the biggest thing is just complete backs. And when you're talking about Sevion Morrison and Gabe, young players. And I think that with young players, you take your lumps some as an offense, especially with guys out there. You take your lumps of maybe growing pains, as I'll like to call them. But if they can progress week in and week out and not make the same mistakes, that's when you see really growth as a player.
I asked you this yesterday, and you got pretty fired up about it, about how angry offensive linemen get across the country when you guys get blamed for a running back missing a blitz. You're shaking your head.
It's infuriating. It's infuriating because it's like, all right, hey, like I said, hey, offensive linemen, we're sorting to the right. We're going 3 for 4 over here. We're locked on the backside here. Anybody else comes over here on the left, running back, you got him. Running back goes in the la-la land, escape Reese. Here comes the safety from depth, sack, and immediately Collinsworth and every reporter, oh, man, that offensive line missed that one. That one's going to suck on the film room. It's like, no, we didn't. We did our job. Like, are you blind? What are you looking at? And there's nothing more frustrating than you put it on the flip side, right? Like the offensive line for a running play. All of a sudden, you get 3 yards and like, oh, man, that wasn't great push by the offensive line. But really, the back went the wrong way, or the back tried to cut in the backfield. And then all of a sudden, the back rips off an 80-yard touchdown runner. Like, look at the speed and the vision of that running back right there. Man, he's a special talent. It's like, how about the offensive line that opened the hole the Mack truck could have drove through? No, not their fault. But here, all of a sudden, the backside defensive end on a zone away, the running back cuts back into him and like, man, this offensive line is struggling today. It's the most infuriating thing to sit back and listen to of all time.
I think I triggered Jeremiah there a little bit, but no, that great perspective there on the running backs and just kind of everything that they're looking for and what they have to do to kind of earn that spot. But again, that sideline scoop with Searles up right now, Huskers Radio Network podcast. That was just a little small snippet of it, but yeah, you heard him talking about the importance of running backs, not just running the football and ripping off those 60-yard runs, those 3.5-yard plays consistently, getting those, reading the offensive line and pass protecting, just absolutely massive.
Yeah, and I asked Ryan Held about that phase, and he raved about Gabe Ervin's ability to do all that, even though he's the youngest guy in that whole room, that's one of his specialties is being able to pick that up. And that might be the difference on who gets more playing time, is if you can do that part of the game, because it is a huge part of it.
And Jeremiah also talked about how it's also different, too, when you're a freshman and you're doing it well in practice, when they're not hitting you as hard, is when a Big Ten linebacker comes and lights you up.
No doubt.
And how you handle that as well. So it will also be telling to see how they handle it in an actual game as well. It might be something that continues to work itself out as we go.
There's no question. It could look way different from week 1 to week 5. I mean, it could really change as they make their way through that. I'm really encouraged with that room. I was nervous about that room during the summer, but I've seen enough and heard enough during camp. I think Nebraska's going to be just fine at that running back spot.
And as we talked about when Ryan had his media availability the other day, the way that these players are kind of mimicking and mirroring kind of what Coach Held is saying and talking about, they're bought in. They have a chip on their shoulder. They want to be a strength. They know that they have to carry a bigger load for this team, that Adrian cannot be relied upon as the leading rusher for this football team. They want to be able to contribute in that area. So they are fully aware of what they need to do this season, and they're hungry to go out and prove it.
Yeah. All right, folks, if you got some thoughts on any of that, any Husker football news, any Husker news, period, love to hear from you. 402-413-2400. You can dial us up with a comment or question on our Sports Nightly hotline, which is brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. We're back with more of the show next.
The game isn't just about winning or losing. It's about the snacks they share after they've used up all their energy in the field. It's the early morning practice before school and staying late after to get a couple more kicks in. It's the pride they feel for their team and the determination to always keep improving. Sure, the game isn't always about winning or losing, but when they've won the big game and celebration is in full swing, there's only one thing left for you to do. Get them home safe. Buckle up and back. Paid for by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Shop Woodhouse first for all of your pre-owned vehicle needs. We offer a variety of quality used makes and models across 16 different locations. You can shop with confidence knowing our pre-owned vehicles complete a comprehensive inspection upon arrival. Visit us for a test drive today or online anytime at woodhouse.com. Making your car buying experience better. This is Woodhouse.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. On May 7th and 8th, Nebraska celebrated its largest May graduating class in university history. 3,594 degrees were awarded to Nebraska graduates in ceremonies at Pinnacle Bank Arena and Memorial Stadium. Along with receiving their diplomas, graduates also heard inspiring speeches from notable Nebraskans, including legendary coach Tom Osborne.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
There is no better way to support your Huskers than becoming a season ticket holder. And a limited number of Nebraska football season tickets are on sale now. Secure your seat in Memorial Stadium for head coach Scott Frost's fourth season at the helm as the Huskers play host to Buffalo, Michigan, Ohio State, Iowa, and more. Now is your chance to become part of the storied tradition that is Husker football. To purchase season tickets, call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe Jessica Coody with you here on a Friday night. Plenty of time for you to jump on board if you want to fire off a question or comment to us at 402-413-2400. Also, the text line is open. The chat room is open on our YouTube stream as well. You have come across a story that The Athletic has put out about a possible alliance between a couple of the power conferences. What is happening?
Yeah, so literally within the past 5-10 minutes, the Athletic put out this article, and it reads, it's a free article, but the Pac-12, Big Ten, and ACC are engaging in high-level discussions about an alliance, sources tell The Athletic. Talks have centered around not just scheduling alliance in football, but in broader cooperation between all of the commissioners have been in talks. And basically, it goes on, while the specifics on how a scheduling pact might work remain unclear, sources in the three conferences suggest the larger goal is alignment so that the Pac-12, Big Ten, and ACC can work and vote together on major issues such as college football playoff expansion and upcoming NCAA governance changes.
There you go. That last part to me is the biggest thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Which we said when all this thing started unfolding with the SEC, they're going to get too much power. The other conferences have got to get together and figure out a way to team up to prevent the SEC from just taking this thing completely over.
I'm encouraged by that.
Me too. Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, let's go.
They smell the rat in this thing, and they're just not going to let the SEC dominate and control this whole thing. That's a really positive sign. Before Jim Delaney retired, he came out with this whole big thing about how the Pac-12 and the Big Ten were going to do a scheduling alliance for all sports, not just football, but they were going to schedule each other in non-conference events in volleyball and women's basketball and softball and baseball and all those things. And it kind of just flittered away. It didn't happen. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. So this is putting life back into this. But it's also creating a bigger voting block, which is the bigger point, I think, to this whole thing, because you have those three conferences together have a lot more cachet than just the SEC does, and so they can outvote them on different things, whether it's playoff expansion, whatever it may be. They can outvote the SEC with it. The three are on the same page.
Because the playoff expansion, no doubt, played into the decision of Oklahoma and Texas to go to the SEC, because otherwise Oklahoma would not leave the setup that they've got. They've been in the college football playoff, however many years, 4 out of the last 5 years, or 6 out of the last 8, however many years it's been, but they've had a ticket to the college football playoff. Why would you give that up unless you feel like you're going to continue to have that avenue in there? Because Alabama has got the stronghold in the SEC, and until someone knocks them off, we've seen two teams get in from the same conference, but it's not happened every year, and it's got to be pretty special circumstances. So no doubt that expansion talk has played into, Oklahoma and Texas going into that thinking, they're still going to get 4, 5, 6 teams in maybe from the SEC.
Teams,
if it's 12. So, with these other conferences stepping in and say, whoa, let's talk about this. If this is going to just benefit the SEC and those schools going into the SEC, we need to revisit these talks a little bit.
How much heartburn do you think there'll be in Austin and Norman if the playoff lands at 8? And I kind of think there's some momentum that it's just going to go to 8. And they've made this move, and they've given up, as you said, particularly for Oklahoma, almost an automatic bid every year because of their position in the Big 12. They may have gone backwards with this whole thing. They won't financially, but with their ability to get in the playoff, they may have a harder time getting in there now.
If the goal, which it's every college football team's goal to compete for national titles and to be in the college football playoff, and you are hurting your chances to do that by this move, then that's going to be like so. I think with all of those talks that it was basically going to happen. Everybody was pushing for the 12 teams. And so you think, the SEC is going to get several teams in there. Well, if you're talking about 8 and the Power 5 getting automatic bids, and then there's 3 at-large bids, that kind of, that changes the pool a little bit. That changes your chances.
It sure does, because Notre Dame, if Notre Dame has good seasons, would get one of those at-larges. You're down to where the SEC is probably going to always get 2, and there may be, if it's at 8, they'll always get 2. They may have years where they get 3, but it's going to stop there. That's as high as it's going to go, and so this is encouraging to me. And the SEC tried to pull the fast one, and I think they were getting close to doing it. But I'm just glad these other leagues have now kind of woke up a little bit and go, wait a minute, let's not like tip the scales that far.
Yeah, when this started happening, we said that we've got to get somebody kind of talking together to try to slow this thing down a little bit, because the SEC and ESPN are about to completely take this thing over. And so the fact that these conferences are coming together, okay, what can we do so that it's not just the SEC taking over power of college football and trying to dictate where this thing is going, and as opposed to what's best for everybody else. Absolutely. It makes me feel a lot better about where we're headed in this deal.
No doubt. So that's a pretty nice little nugget on a Friday night for the Athletic. Good for them to break that. I think Max Olson was the one who kind of broke the story open for them. They've got just so many really good writers for the Athletic. That's such a good publication. It's one of the things I subscribe to. They just have amazing articles, not just with college sports, but they have NFL, MLB, NBA, so they just do a great job covering that up and down. Some of our headlines of the day: Nebraska announcing earlier today that they're going to set up a kind of a tailgate village, a boneyard tailgate party for their students on campus near the Union for the first 4 home football games of the year. Terrific idea that was really kind of born, I think, Jessica, by the great attendance they had for game day here 2 years ago.
Yeah, when College Game Day showed up and the students were unbelievable. It was a great atmosphere, and they saw that what students could do here on campus, the energy they could bring, I think that became important, and student groups having conversations with administration about what can we do to maybe, keep that energy going on regular games where College Game Day is not here, and that's kind of where the idea was born. But giving them a spot right here close to campus, you build up the energy, you take it into the stadium. The crowd and Memorial Stadium is fantastic, but the students really, can really lead the charge in a home field advantage and how rowdy a crowd can get. And so for them to kind of have some momentum and carry it into the stadium, and to kind of reward them, hey, here's your spot. Let's amp up the energy and take it into the stadium.
We used to have kind of a thing over here where now the new construction's going on that was the Husker Village type thing over here. And that was fun. It kind of ran its course. The inability to sell alcohol, I think, probably kept it from really taking off. But, as we make our way around college football and different conferences, and you're going to see it in Champaign, they've got a really good setup outside their stadium. They call it Grange's Grove. That's a really fun little tailgate area. One of the things that we lack here at UNL is there's just not a lot of open space. There's not much land around here to do things. Where they're going to do it is not connected to the stadium, but it's a 3-minute walk into the middle of campus, and there is a pretty nice little area in there. I hope this works. I hope this is a really nice place for students. I hope they take advantage of it. I hope they go, they have some fun, and then they en masse make their way over to the stadium for game days.
And it's going to be open for student groups to have kind of their own area as well. So if a sorority or fraternity, some sort of, group on campus wants to have their own little area and have a pre-game tailgate party, whether you go to the game or not, but for a lot of students that are going to go to the game, it's just a cool spot where you can kind of make the cool place to be right outside the stadium opposed to having to be so far away from stadium. So I think it seems like a lot of the student groups that were involved are really excited about having this opportunity. They were hoping to get this kind of opportunity.
That is fantastic. Huskers have found the back of the net out at Hibner. A header by Eleanor Dale has put the Big Red up 1-0. Because it's an exhibition match and not a real match, what they've decided to do tonight is play 3 30-minute sessions instead of 2 45-minute halves. So they're in between. That way they don't have to take the water break. So they're in a little bit of a break right now out there, but Huskers have scored again tonight, so good for them.
That's going to be tough, though, for a lot of these teams that have so many, players trying to figure out playing time.
Yeah.
On one hand, it's a good thing. You can scrimmage. That's what the players were talking about. This is the first time that they've been able to actually field 2 teams and scrimmage against each other in the preseason, which is big. But also then figuring out the playing time from there because it has been so competitive. But iron sharpens iron seems to be the motto that a lot of these teams are using, and the freshmen, the newcomers have come in for volleyball and have provided some fierce battles. And then, on the soccer pitch as well, on the football field. But yeah, I think it's provided some tough decisions for coaches on figuring out those lineups.
So the Huskers up 1-0 out at Hibner tonight, and then they'll open their season next Thursday. Husker volleyball, we are 8 days away from their red-white scrimmage, which will be at 6 o'clock next Saturday night at the Devaney Center. That is always a great first peek at this team, and I think the competition for playing time there is going to be intense, and it's only going to get tougher when Lauren Siverns gets herself back in playing shape and can get into the mix for that thing. But that'll be fun. 2 weeks from tonight, they start their season. 2 weeks from tonight.
I'm so excited.
Actually, they play at 11 a.m. Then they play at night, so they have 2 matches on that first Friday.
Which we have talked some here that's not going to be an easy kind of out-of-the-gate task because it kind of throws off
It does.
your schedule a little bit. You're used to kind of one way, but you got to play 2 in one day. Most of the time, that's not the case. So it'll be a good challenge right out of the gate. And 2 opportunities in one day for fans to check them out.
Absolutely. Take a long lunch, go see the late morning match, and then come back and get your Fairbury brand hot dog at the Devaney Center for the night. There you go. I'm planning everybody's meals for that day, too. All right, need to take a break. We'll come back. Our winners and losers, but still time if you want to be a part of the show. 402-413-2400. We got a sound check with Garth Brooks going on behind us inside the stadium. Big concert here tomorrow night. The weather's supposed to be really nice for that concert. That's going to be fantastic. A lot of fun. Join us on the last few minutes of the show. We're back to wrap it up next.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
Did you ever buy something and get more? More than you expected? Emeritus offers insurance, employee benefits, and financial services. But we deliver so much more. The comfort of a human voice when you need it. The confidence of flashing a beautiful smile, the relief that your family can keep living the life they love, the serenity of knowing you've planned well and can enjoy life. That's what we really deliver. We call it fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services, and much more.
Our Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on Sports Nightly on a Friday night, 402-413-2400. Let's go to the phone. Seth, you're up next on Sports Nightly. Good evening.
Yeah, I just want to say about the vaccine stuff with the football players. I kind of don't understand why they're kind of pushing for it. I mean, they're 20-year-old young kids are probably healthy, right? Young men that are healthy. I mean, the chances of them dying for it are pretty low. I don't understand why you'd want them to take something that we know now that it doesn't prevent you from getting or giving the virus. So I don't understand why we push that so much. I mean, if you're in a risky demographic, I get it if you're older, but these young, they're young folks. I don't see why putting a foreign substance that we don't know 5 years from now might give you cancer or something. We don't know that. And there are risks to it. I mean, they're far and few between, but there are risks. There's a video you can look up, probably on YouTube, that a young mom got her 12-year-old daughter the vaccine, and when she got the second shot, her daughter was hunched over and had real bad pains in her chest, and now I think she can't walk right, if I remember right, and she has something up her nose. I don't know if it was a breathing tube or a feed tube, but, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, but I think that's a risk. I mean, but these kids, they got a 1% chance, I think, at worst, of having severe, dying from it. And I don't know why you'd push that. I think that what the hell was I going to say? I think that these kids should make a decision, if they want to take it, but it shouldn't. I don't think it should be pressured.
All right, Seth, appreciate it. Thanks for the call. And, hey, it is. It's an individual choice. I think that's why Nebraska's tried to educate them, give them the pros and cons of that. They've had medical experts from UNMC down here to talk about all those things. So I get why there might be some hesitancy, and I'm not opposed. If somebody decides they don't want to take it, that's their decision not to do that. I'm glad Nebraska has not mandated it to them. Some schools, I think, have kind of mandated it. The kids have to take it. I don't know if that's necessarily the right thing, but I don't think it hurt. In most cases, I don't think it hurts for you to get the vaccine.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that even though the death rate might not be high for kids those age, it's proven that if you do get it, it helps with the symptoms. It helps you get over it quickly. And also when you're having to be tested 3 times a week, it's just the laws in place by the NCAA, probably coming out by the conferences. If you're vaccinated, you don't have to do all of the testing, the quarantine, all of that kind of things. And it's out. You're going to be punished. You're going to lose games. Right. They're forfeits if you cannot put a team out on the field. And so that's why they're pushing the vaccines, is that, and again, it is their choice. It's not like you have to get it, right. But it's basically the rules are in place is encouraging people to get the vaccines, because otherwise, if you can't put a team out on the field, you're going to lose that game.
Isn't it crazy that we're on a sports show and we're talking about medical issues like this? It's just crazy.
Yeah.
What a different world we live in than we did 18 months ago, and all this really wasn't even a thought in anybody's mind. And hopefully, we get this thing under control and we get back to full stadiums and not have to worry about this. And I think we will. I think we'll get to that point in time and do that. But again, I'm proud of what Nebraska's done. They've brought in medical experts to talk to the teams, lay out all the specifics of these things. But hey, this has been a scary thing. We've lost a lot of people have died from this wicked virus, and it's rearing its ugly head again with the Delta virus. Next, it's going to be the Lambda virus. It's going to keep going, I think, for a while, unfortunately, that we're going to have to deal with this. Breaking story that Jessica had was that the Athletic has put out that the 3 other conferences outside of the Big 12 and the SEC, the Big 10, the Pac-12, and the ACC, have been in conversations and talks to kind of form an alliance to do some scheduling, but also to kind of be a voting block to maybe block some of the SEC's power moves that they've been obviously instituting when they went and raided the Big 12 with Texas and Oklahoma. This is fascinating.
How about this from Logan in the chat? The Big Pacific Atlantic Conference.
Love it. There you go. Coast to coast.
Yeah, and a lot of if you're going to be shocked to hear this, but a lot of hate for Texas in here.
Yeah, that's not that is not surprising to me at all. You know, there's so many people that, even to this day, a lot of my Kansas friends will go, well, don't you miss the Big 12? And my response always is, I don't miss the Big 12. I miss the Big 8, which was the precursor, which was the Oklahoma schools, the Kansas schools, Missouri, Iowa State, Nebraska, and Colorado. That was a really special time, and people that are old enough to remember that, I think, would agree. You could basically drive to every campus in a one-day drive and go watch the Huskers play in Boulder or Norman or Columbia and get right back, and that was a special time. We'll never get back to it. It's gone. It's never going to come back to that, but that was a special time.
And it's for every school, you know. I mean, it's the location just does not mean anything anymore.
It doesn't. Think about, you know, for Oklahoma fans, you're going to go to Gainesville, watch them play Florida. You're going to go to Columbia, South Carolina to watch that. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
It seems like you know, because the Big 12, other than, I mean, the Texas game's always in Dallas, but a lot of fans seem to be happy about the new teams coming in because they're, you know, it's better than Kansas football coming to town or going to Lawrence to watch a game.
But you're breaking up Bedlam. That's just really wild.
That will be interesting to see how that plays out.
Let's get into our winners and losers for the week. How about you lead us off?
So I forgot where I was going to go with this. Who is my winner? Who was my winner? You go first because I forgot.
My winner is Ernie Johnson. We talked about this on the program last night. The TNT broadcaster who went and spoke to the Alabama football team and had just a wonderful message about working together and becoming a better human being and all. It's a wonderful little video. If you can go find it, go watch it. You will not regret giving yourself a couple of minutes to watch Ernie Johnson, who I have so much respect for. He's taking care of his son who's got bad health issues, and he and his wife routinely have been keeping that son alive. It's just amazing to watch that. So Ernie Johnson's my winner of the week. My loser are the Russians. They came out with a story today where they are blaming the United States for their lack of success in the Olympic Games. They said that the United States has formed an alliance with other nations of the world to limit the Russians' success in a lot of the different sports, and that they would have done better if they weren't being held off in one corner by themselves and having to fight the rest of the world. So, wow. The Russians are my losers.
My winner, I remember now, the Big Ten Network, providing the most extensive volleyball coverage in network
53
history.
53 matches.
It's incredible. And we saw Lawrence Difference after the Olympic gold medal win, you know, calling to put volleyball on TV more. And the Big Ten Network is doing that. The ratings have been there. And then 5 additional matches going to be put on TV as well. So you're going to be able to watch the Huskers on TV a lot this season. So shout out to the Big Ten Network for giving that platform to volleyball. My loser is Skip Bayless. Did you see that? Again, making headlines, going viral.
On Mike McCarthy?
Yeah.
Was that what it was? What?
So he's calling out Mike McCarthy about his physique.
Yeah.
And so Jenny Taft, who I think does a fantastic job, covers a lot of Big Ten games, calls him out for it, and then says, and he tries to shut her down, and she says, I'm allowed to have my opinion. And so everyone going to Jenny Taft's defense, but Skip Bayless again, making negative headlines. That happens. He's good for that about, once a month?
I guess that's what they want him to do, right? I mean, I guess that's what his purpose is to stir it up to the point where everybody wants to throw oranges at their TV or their screen when he's on there. So
I guess they're getting ratings out of it, but he's going to be my loser for this week.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, concert tomorrow. Looking forward to that?
I am. Garth is currently going through sound checks. We've seen some photos coming up. Ryan Held posted a picture of the sound check, and we're still hearing the marching band out front. So
very good. John Cook hasn't done a pan again of the stadium
I
like he did the other night.
haven't seen Coach Cook's post yet, but he's out there.
How about that? That's great. You know, I was supposed to find out today who's John's band, and I forgot to do that. I'll have that for everybody on a Monday, because he is a big. It's not the Doors. It's somebody like that. It's an old rock band.
Listen to this.
Really big.
26,654 minutes away from game day, according to Crypto King in our YouTube chat.
Counting it down. He must have a clock. He must have put a clock up or something that he's got going in there. All right, that'll do it for the week. Thanks, everybody, for being a part of the week. Have a great weekend. For those of you going to Garth tomorrow night, have a great time. Enjoy yourself. Thanks to Jessica, to Mike, and to Andrew. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good night.
hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact. Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is caught in the jagged jaws of ransomware attacks and phishing scams. Help! Wait! It's Marco's Network Security Solutions to the rescue with life-saving ways to detect hungry cybervillains and stop them cold in their tracks. With Marco's Network Security Solutions, our IT hero lives to surf another day. For more successful network security adventures, go to marconet.com.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.